Welcome to the 2018-2019 NFHS and WHSAA Swimming and Diving Rules presentation. This is a requirement for all head coaches and officials. So on WHSAA rules, head coaches must pass the open book exam with 80%, which is on our website prior to the first competition. Click on the link on our website and that'll take you to the NFHS website. Officials must also pass the open book exam with 80% through Arbiter Sports prior to your first competition. We do have the Officials Pass, which is once again available to all of our registered officials for $25, which is good for all of our events through the 2018-2019 school year. Keep recruiting officials and judges. It's all of our responsibilities. There will also be a slide presentation towards the end with the same thing. This is not just a Wyoming issue, it is a national issue. So we all have to do our jobs to keep recruiting officials and judges for our swimming and diving events. For any rules questions, the rules interpreter is George Mathis from Buffalo. You can also call me in the office. If I don't have an answer, I will contact George as well. The mission of the NFHS is to serve its member schools by providing leadership for the administration of education-based high school athletics and activities through the writing and playing rules that emphasize health and safety, educational programs that develop leaders, and administrative support to increase participation opportunities and promote sportsmanship. NFHS rules books as ebooks are available if you'd like to purchase those through iTunes or Amazon. The cost of those is $6.99 for each book. There's also a new NFHS rules app that is available. This is free to our officials. If you'd like to take advantage of that, you can contact Lana in our office. She will also be sending out a memo sometime in the near future regarding how to access the app. Guidelines for schools and state associations for consideration of accommodations. Coaches or ADs, if you do have an athlete that needs an accommodation, please call us and we will go through that. We will do everything we can to accommodate those athletes to the best of our ability. If we do allow the accommodation, we will attach a letter, send it to you that you must present to all meet officials throughout the season. Swimming and diving rules changes for the 2018-2019 season. There's quite a few. A lot of them are definitions and changes and reordering some stuff, but there's a lot of changes. Number one, definitions, Rule 1. The NFHS Swimming and Diving Rules Committee addressed the organization of Rule 1. First, terms referring to meets have been consolidated. Section headings are reordered. And definitions have been added. Rule 1, again, has been reorganized and terminology has been added to more accurately reflect and define meets, specifications, and organization. The changes provide clarity while also consolidating the many terms identifying types of meets. The sections in Rule 1 were reordered to reflect where they are addressed in the rule book, and new definitions address terms. Definitions, Rule 1-4. Seeding is the process of assigning competitors into heats, lanes, and/or dive order by time or score. A meet is a series of events. A meet announcement is the information provided to participating teams and officials regarding the meet type, format, course, events, schedule, procedures, etc. The definition of a forfeited meet is already referred to in Rule 7.2.3 and therefore was deleted from Rule 1. This eliminates redundant wording. New definitions for seeding, a meet, and a meet announcement have been added to Rule 1-4. Definitions, Rule 1-4-8, 3-1-2, 5-1-1 notes, 7-1-2, 7-1-3, and 9-2-4. Types of meets. First one, dual meet. 2 teams. Double dual meet, which is 3 teams scored as 2 separate meets. Triple dual meet, 3 teams scored as 3 separate meets. And the last one is a multi-team meet, which is 3 or more teams, each competing for the same points. A couple bullets. A championship meet is a culminating meet as determined by state association policy. A non-championship meet is a scored meet which is not required to utilize championship rules. Traditionally, meet descriptions and formats have been referenced in the swimming and diving rulebook using a variety of terms. Rule 1-4-8 now organizes types of meets into 4 categories: dual meets, double dual meets, triple dual meets, and multi-team meets. Each of the 4 meet types uses a different scoring system. Multi-team meets are further defined as being either a championship or a non-championship meet. The difference between championship and non-championship meets is that participation rules differ for each. The type of meet is determined by the number of participating teams, which dictates the scoring system. Definitions. Rule 1-4-9. Formats of meets. Timed finals are meets that have events consisting of 1 or more heats in which final place winners in an event are determined by time. Preliminaries and final meets have at least 2 rounds in each event before final place winners are determined. Mixed format meets have events which are competed as timed finals and other events which are competed as preliminaries and finals. Meet formats are now defined in Rule 1-4-9 as timed finals, preliminaries and finals, and mixed format meets. A meet format determines how a meet is to be conducted. More definitions. Rule 1-4-9b. Preliminaries and final meets. Preliminaries are competitions designed to advance qualifiers to another round of competition. Finals are a concluding competition designed to determine the place winners and points in an event. A swim-off is part of the preliminary process of qualifying a full complement of finalists. Preliminaries and final meets are further defined in Rule 1-4-9b. Swim-offs and alternate qualifiers, which are possible components of preliminaries and final meets, are also contained within this rule. Pool markings. Rule 2-4-5. Visible markings shall be provided which are located 16.4 yards or 15 meters from each end wall on both sides of the pool deck. The markings may also be placed on each lane marker. Deck markings take precedence. The new wording clarifies that 16.4 yard or 15 meter marks must be visible on both sides of the pool deck. These markings may also be integrated into each lane marker or lane line. However, because the position of such floats are often irregular, the marks on the sides of the pool are the uniform default marking for all lanes. Equipment for swimming events. Rule 2-7-2b. As in the picture, backstroke starting ledges are not permitted in high school swimming. You can see the picture there. Backstroke ledges are not permitted for our high school meets. The NFHS Swimming and Diving Rules Committee has consistently opposed the use of backstroke ledges because of concerns about risk minimization, which is one of the principal responsibilities of the committee. Equipment for swimming events. Rule 2-7-2c. If 1 or more starting platforms are not securely attached to the deck or end wall, the following options may be used provided the water depth rule is not violated. First, all swimmers shall start in the water. Second, all swimmers shall start on the deck. Or last, any affected lane or lanes may be excluded with prior mutual consent. And note, when water depth and or distance of starting platforms from the water surface do not meet rule specs, the swimmers must start in the water or on the deck, provided water depth is not violated or the meet shall not be conducted. The previous Rule 272 Penalty 3 was incorporated into the body of Rule 272, and an alternative was added to permit affected lanes to be excluded with prior mutual consent of competing teams. The previous Penalty 1 is now a note, as it reflects the action that should be taken when water depth or the distance of starting platforms from the water are not compliant. The referee, Rule 4-2-1D. The referee's authority begins as he or she is available on deck, which shall be at least 30 minutes before the start of the meet. The referee shall conduct a pre-meet conference with the starter, a captain, and a coach from each team to review meet procedures, special instructions, and any unusual pool conditions. The pre-meet conference is now a requirement of the referee, starter, coach, and captain of each team. This serves as a risk minimization function and promotes positive sporting behavior. Suggested topics to be covered include sportsmanship, illegal attire, medical issues involving tape, students with a disability, and any general concerns or comments. Turn judges, Rule 4-5-3 and 4-7. At the discretion of the referee, the duties of stroke inspectors and turn/finish judges may be combined in assigning officiating responsibilities. The responsibilities of a stroke inspectors and turn or finish judges can now be combined by this rule. When the availability of officials is limited, it is important that the flexibility to staff the deck effectively and efficiently with the available officials is preserved. Order and length of events, Rule 5-1-2A. In non-championship meets, by prior mutual consent of competing teams, the diving event may be held first, last, or simultaneously with the swimming event. Regardless of when the diving event is conducted, there shall be a break of at least 15 minutes, with at least 10 minutes warm-up in the water prior to the 100-yard butterfly. In non-championship meets, the diving event may be held first, last, or simultaneously with the swimming events, in addition to the traditional placement as Event 5 between the 50-yard free and the 100-yard butterfly. Allowing for flexibility in conducting the diving event within the dual meet program will permit more options for competing teams. Again, regardless of when the diving event is conducted, there shall be at least a 15-minute break with at least 10 minutes warm-up in the water prior to the 100-yard butterfly. Lane and heat assignments, Rule 5-3. Rule 5-3 has been reorganized to clarify the assignment of lanes in meets ranging from dual meets up to multi-team meets. In dual meets, the visiting team shall have the choice of the odd or even numbered lanes. In pools with an odd number of lanes, a lane shall be voided and the lanes renumbered if necessary. Section 5-3 has been updated to provide lane and heat assignment protocol in a logical fashion from the dual meet to the multi-team event. This change also provides direction for situations in which the number of teams and or entries cannot be equally divided into the number of available lanes. Meet hosts should have the responsibility or right of deciding between seating and leaving the lanes open, because that decision affects meet duration and facility constraints. The first adjustment, lane and heat assignments, Rule 5-3. In non-championship multi-team meets and double dual or triple dual meets, the lane assignments below shall be used. I'll leave that up for a little bit. I'm not going to read through all those. If you do have questions and can't get to it, I can certainly send you the PowerPoint as well. When the number of teams cannot be equally divided into the number of lanes, meet hosts shall have the choice of seating or using these lane assignments and leaving lanes open. Non-championship multi-team meets with more than 5 teams shall be seated. The language provides additional options for meet hosts when conducting meets. Again, if you need me to send you this PowerPoint, just let me know. Lane and heat assignments continued. Rule 5-3, in seeded timed final meets, lane assignments shall be made in descending order of seated positions of swimmers or relay teams according to the lanes as follows. This figure shows lane assignments for competitors swimming in seeded time finals, multi-team meets in which there is one heat per event. This seating configuration has not been changed. Continue with lane and heat assignments. In timed final events, fastest seeded swimmers or relay teams shall be placed as a group in the last heat. The next fastest seeded swimmers or relay teams as a group in the next to last heat, and so forth, as in the following pattern, as you can see. This figure shows lane assignments for competitors swimming in seeded time finals, multi-team meets in which there are multiple heats per event. This seating configuration has not changed. Note, the use of pools with a greater or fewer number of lanes is permissible with the patterns established in the example scaled to the number of lanes available in the competition pool. Continuing on with lane and heat assignments. In preliminary races, the final 3 heats consist of the fastest seeded competitors, with the fastest in the last heat, the second fastest in the next to last heat, the third fastest in the second to last heat, the fourth fastest in the last heat, and so on. If more than 3 heats are necessary, the assignment in additional heats is determined as in timed final event. For example, the following plan shall operate when there are 32 swimmers in 6 lanes for preliminaries. The seating configuration for a preliminary/finals meet has not changed. The preliminary races require the last 3 heats to be circle seated so that the fastest seeded competitor is assigned to the last heat. Again, the second fastest competitor is assigned to the next to the last heat, and the third fastest competitor is assigned to the third from the last heat, and so on. The use of pools with a greater or fewer number of lanes is permissible with the patterns established in the example scale to the number of lanes available in the competition pool. Qualifying procedures, Rule 5-4-2. In preliminaries and final meets, the fastest swimmers from the preliminaries of each event shall qualify for the finals, and the next fastest swimmers shall qualify for consolation finals. If there are fewer competitors than the total number of scoring lanes, the finals heat shall be filled even if that leaves 2 or fewer competitors in the consolation finals heat. The added article provides language in regard to scoring based on pool facilities with different number of available lanes. Choice of dives, Rule 9-4-6, Note 2. Number 1 has not changed. For interstate competition, the voluntary dive group of the week shall follow the schedule of the host school's state unless state association policy determines otherwise. 2 is the change. With prior mutual consent of competing teams, 11 dives may be performed during dual or multi-team events. The format shall adhere to Rule 9-4-1. The Note 2 has been added and clarifies that it is permissible to conduct 11 dive competitions during non-championship multi-team meets. This provides additional options for competitors to prepare for tournament series events. That concludes the changes for the upcoming season. Now we have some major editorial changes that we will go over. Definitions, Rule 1-2-3 and 3-2-1. Exhibition competitors are permitted unless state association policy determines otherwise, which we do not. An exhibition competitor has 4 guidelines, has been designated by his or her coach to be a non-scoring contestant in a regularly scheduled and scored event, must adhere to rules regarding event form, starting, judging, timing, and conduct, shall not be counted in the number of entries per event allowed each team. However, the event does count toward the number of events an individual competitor may enter. And lastly, they may use his or her performance as a qualifying time or diving score. Rules pertaining to the exhibition competitors have not changed, but are now reformatted and located in Rule 1. Water conditions, Rule 2-6 and 2-7-2 penalty. The water clarity shall be such that the bottom and end lane line markings can be clearly seen while standing at midpoint on either side of the pool deck. The physical condition of the water shall meet standards of chemical balance and treatment as prescribed by the school's local or state health code. Article 2, the level of the water shall be at the overflow rim of the pool. Penalty. When water conditions above do not meet rule specs, the referee may declare that the meet will not be conducted. This change reorganizes water condition requirements and provides directives for non-compliant conditions. Rule 2-6 now clarifies which requirements are mandatory and which is a recommendation. No changes were made to the 3 articles themselves, merely the order in which they are listed. Rule 2-7 addresses equipment for swimming events. Penalty 2 was deleted because it refers to water conditions, not equipment, and then the penalty for improper water conditions already exists in Rule 2-6. Equipment for swimming events, Rule 279 and 7-2-5. Article 9, it is recommended that a location where the meet score can be posted throughout the meet be provided. 725, it is recommended the meet score be posted and or announced throughout the meet. This recommendation was previously listed in Section 7, which contains swimming equipment standards. The editorial change specifies that the score should be provided in some location, making it an equipment standard. An additional statement was added to Rule 7-2-5 that recommends the meet score be posted throughout the meet. Authorized officials, Rule 4-1-2. In multi-team meets, a meet committee and a meet director shall assume responsibility for all aspects of meet management. The meet committee shall make decisions on matters not specifically covered by the rules or on the misapplication of a rule during a meet. Judgment calls of officials are not subject to review by this committee. The decisions of the meet committee are final. This editorial change clarifies that a meet committee and meet director are only required for championship meets. Other meets are administered by the referee or other officials appropriate to the type of meet. Relay events, Rule 8-3, note, in meets where other relay events are part of the schedule, they shall be swum in accordance with all rules governing the strokes involved. In the backstroke relay events, all takeoffs except the initial start shall be from a forward start, after which the swimmers are permitted one immediate arm pull in the prone position prior to turning over on their backs. The backstroke relay is not a part of the official NFHS schedule of events. This language was moved to a note, which can provide guidance but should not be listed as an NFHS rule. The remaining articles were renumbered. Points of emphasis. First one, suit coverage. This continues to be a hot topic, at least on the national level as well. Student athletes must wear uniforms of decent appearance, including suit coverage. If individuals or teams are in violation of this rule, officials are encouraged to contact the head coach of the offending team, rather than the student, requesting that the student athletes be appropriately equipped with uniforms that meet specified standards. Swimmers and or divers who are not meeting the rule shall not compete. Rule 3-3-1 states that all suits shall be of one piece, and competitors shall not be permitted to participate wearing a suit that is not of decent appearance. Boys shall wear suits which cover the buttocks, while girls shall wear suits which cover the buttocks and breasts. If individuals or teams are in violation of this rule, officials are encouraged to contact the head coach of the offending team rather than the student, requesting that all team members be appropriately equipped with uniforms that meet specified standards. School administrators and coaches are also asked to be proactive in monitoring their athletes' compliance with this rule. If the athlete cannot or will not comply with the suit coverage rule, they will be disqualified from events until they are in legal attire. Coaches are encouraged to select team suits that provide appropriate coverage as it pertains to NFHS rules. The issue of suit coverage continues to be a troubling topic for many. Focus will be on discussions with the head coach or coaching staff who should address the issue with their swimmers. Scratches, declared false starts, or failing to compete. In a championship meet, a scratch is a withdrawal from remainder of events. Declared false start is a withdrawal from an event, must be done by designated time and place, and is counted as an entry, and competitor may participate in other events. But failure to compete does not report for an event. They're disqualified from further competition. An exception may be unless it's due to medical reason. The differences between scratches, declared false starts, and the penalty for failing to compete are applied differently to championship and non-championship meets. In championship meets, a scratch is the withdrawal of a competitor from the remainder of the events in the meet. A declared false start is the withdrawal of a competitor from a specific event. The event shall still count as an entry, although it does not disqualify the competitor from further competition. And a competitor who fails to compete in an event in which he or she has officially entered, unless the failure to compete is due to a medical reason, the competitor shall be disqualified from further competition. Continuing on, for non-championship meets, a scratch, withdrawal from the remainder of the events, declared false start, withdrawal from an event, must be done by designated time and place, and is counted as an entry, and competitor may participate in other events. Failure to compete does not report for the event, disqualified from that event only. So that's the difference between championship meets and non-championship meets. Failure to compete, they're disqualified from that event only. In non-championship meets, scratches and declared false starts are treated in the same manner. However, a competitor who fails to compete in an event in which he or she has officially entered shall be disqualified from that event only. Officials recruitment. High school officials are needed in this sport. Administrators, coaches, and officials can help by reaching out to recruit graduating seniors, area college students, retired coaches, or officials in other sports. High school swimming needs dedicated men and women to become involved so that the sport can continue to prosper for years to come. Administrators, coaches, and officials are encouraged to reach out to local graduating seniors, area college students, retiring coaches, and or officials who are licensed in other sports to recruit new individuals and prospective swimming and diving officials. NFHS officials education, sport-specific officiating courses are available. Costs for our folks are $10 because we are 100% state. Course available, one that pertains to us for this presentation, swimming and diving. We also have a general interscholastic officiating course. That is again, it's not sport-specific, but it's a general basic course that would be great for a first or second year official, and this is free to any of our registered officials. NFHS Officials Association Central Hub, again, this is free as a part of our membership for the National Federation. It provides sport information, rules library, searchable rules book, and video content. So please take advantage of this. That's on the NFHS Officials Association Central Hub. NFHS Learning Center, professional development for coaches, officials, administrators, parents, students, and performing arts. Over 1.3 million courses have been delivered or were delivered in 2017, and 25 of them at no cost. Some free courses include, the one to mention is concussion in sports. It's a requirement that our coaches, depending on each school district, have some level of training in the area of concussions. We also highly encourage that our officials or judges take this course. It's about a 20-minute, 25-minute course, and again, it's free to everyone. Coaching swimming is available. Partnered with the National Interscholastic Swim Coaches Association, and again, this is a $10 course. Coaching diving is also developed in conjunction with the National Interscholastic Swim Coaches Association and USA Diving. Again, a $10 course. Officiating swimming and diving is also available. It was presented in conjunction with the National Interscholastic Swim Coaches Association and again, USA Diving. And again, a $10 course. NFHS Swimming and Diving Resources. We have not received these books yet, but once we get them, if your school has ordered them, we will send them out in a timely manner. Hopefully, have them delivered by the Coaches Clinic in July. And lastly, for all head coaches and officials, you are required to view this rules video and then complete the Google Doc. Assistant coaches, you may view this video, but you should not complete the Google Doc because there are no requirements. You click on the link in the description of the video on our website. The link is also available at WHSAA.org. You enter your name and then choose whether or not you're an official or a head coach. That concludes our presentation of the 2018-2019 swimming and diving rules. I hope you have a fantastic season. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact our office. For rules-specific questions, you can contact George Mathis. Thank you.